On Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, another major blow to the Trump campaign this morning. Maine's top election leader decided to pull the former president from its 2024 primary election ballot. We have the details on the decision. And an affidavit's revealing new details about the suspect in a 16-year-old Edna cheerleader's murder. We'll tell you more about his criminal past and what authorities found in his home the day they tracked him down. Turning out of California, state leaders issued high surf and flood warnings for the coast. We'll tell you more about the dangerous conditions triggering evacuation orders for coastal communities.
And we're going to have a little bit more cool weather for the rest of this week going into the weekend before we get another cold front coming our way on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
Well, a wild finish out there for West. Stick around, I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 29th day of December 2023. The time is now 6:31 on our Friday morning, and today is still need to do day. So that's kind of like these are the final days of 2023.
Yeah, gotta get some things out of the way before we go into the new year, right?
That's right. It could be like making a charitable donation to a charity, for example, so it counts on your taxes.
Is there anything that you still need to do, Carolina?
I still need to do, well, I've got to do lots of things. I need to catch up on my my pet's monthly heartworm and flea medication.
Well. I'm glad you told me that. I still need to do that as well.
Got lots to catch up on.
Yeah, we've got lots of stuff to do before 24/4.
All right, Parker. Well, how is it looking out there? Are we going to be able to get our errands done today?
Yes, Carolina. We should be able to get them just fine. It's going to be a little cool today. I might want to pack like a really light jacket or something, maybe like a light sweater or something, maybe long sleeve or something like that. But this morning, if you're waking up right now, if you're just tuning in, if you look a live look at North Victoria, where it is quite cold out there right now as we speak, about 37 degrees out there right now. It's quite a chilly morning here at the Crossroads, but with a dew point 33 though, bringing that humidity to an 86%, so it's more like a humid cold. Not humid enough for any fog because you get 95 fog at 95% or higher. It'd be light fog that is, but if I see a little bit of morning dew in your windshield, so you might have to use those wipers to wipe all that water off so you can see out your window. So please be careful on the roads this morning. But like I said, cold actually, rather all across the board here in the Crossroads area. But along the immediate coast, you're in the 40s this morning, so it's a little bit warmer down there. That's because you're close to this water here, where it's a little bit more consistent temperature. But for the rest of the day, starting out, like I said, in the upper 30s, but warm up into the low 60s today. So I'm thinking it'll be probably about 62, 63 this afternoon, maybe 61 if we get lucky or something like that. But dropping right back to the 30s overnight tonight. So if you have any plants inside, you want to bring those inside so they don't suffer. And these 30-degree temperatures out there. But then tomorrow, going to be warming up even more into the upper 60s tomorrow. And the day after that into Sunday, New Year's Eve, even warmer in the 70s. So take a look at what's going on here. Why are we warming up here? Because it's December. It's almost January, right? We got that low pressure system just south of the Great Lakes and Michigan. That just gives us that cold front. Last weekend actually is going to push off into the Atlantic and dissipate over there, making way for this next low. It's going to develop, bring us a warm front on Sunday, warming us up nicely in the 70s, but then bring us a cold front our way on New Year's Day. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Maine's top election leader decided to remove former President Donald Trump from the state's presidential primary election ballot. Maine's Democratic Secretary of State ruled Trump ineligible due to his actions around January 6th. Maine becomes the second state to disqualify Trump from its 2024 primary ballot on 14th Amendment grounds. The decision will not be enforced until the courts weigh in on the issue. Trump's campaign is expected to file a legal obligation in state court. Just weeks after the murder of a 16-year-old Edna cheerleader, new details emerge about the suspect who confessed to her death. 25 News Now has learned the suspect, Rafael Romero, lived at a mobile home in Schulenburg where authorities captured him. He lived there with his parents and two siblings and had lived in the area for at least 5 years. Romero was on probation for a felony burglary conviction at the time of Lisbeth Medina's death. A December 11th affidavit revealed authorities found numerous items belonging to Medina in Romero's bedroom, connecting him to her murder. Romero remains at the Jackson County Jail on a $2 million bond. For more information, go to our website, CrossroadsToday.com. Authorities take a Port Lavaca man into custody. On Wednesday, authorities charged Jonathan Cuellar with engaging in organized criminal activity. The 31-year-old now in the Victoria County Jail, a bond not set by authorities at this time. A husband and wife arrested Tuesday in Yoakum, but they are now in different county jails. Authorities arrested and charged 59-year-old Calvin Williams with engaging in organized criminal activity. He also faces credit card abuse charges from August. He's in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of a $75,000 bond. Williams taken into custody while he was in the vehicle with his wife, 43-year-old Lori Jimenez. At that time, in the DeWitt County part of Yoakum, Jimenez lied about who she was to a police officer. That charge added to 3 other charges against her, including engaging in organized criminal activity. Jimenez is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of a $69,000 bond. The surf is up along the California coastline. High surf and flood warnings are in effect up and down the coastlines. Dangerous conditions have triggered evacuation orders and warnings in some coastal communities, with the large waves causing significant flooding along beaches and coastal roads. We now turn to the Amazon delivery worker claiming that race played a role in a fight she caught on video. She says she just was following instructions when the violence erupted.
This morning, an Amazon delivery driver says she was harassed while dropping off a package and caught it on video.
We've had thieves here, and you're a thief?
Jemiah Miller recorded a resident who initially let her into this Houston apartment building to drop off a package. But when she got off the elevator, the resident started accusing her of being a thief.
Don't touch me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Please don't touch me.
Miller says she was wearing her Amazon vest and followed the delivery instructions to bring it to the apartment door. But the woman insisted she take it to the front desk.
I do think that because I'm a dark-skinned Black woman with locks, I fit the bill of what she could potentially think a thief or a criminal looks like. So I think that's all that mattered.
As Miller got closer to the apartment door, she says the woman got aggressive.
Excuse me.
She's attacking me.
Please
She's attacking me.
Miller says the woman was actually hitting her. A doorman eventually came up and calmed the situation, allowing Miller to leave. Miller filed a police report but claims authorities have been slow to respond. Houston police say they've reached out to the apartment building to identify the woman who allegedly assaulted the driver but have not received that information from the complex yet. Miller says she wants justice.
I want them to be treated like anyone else who violently assaults someone would be treated. I think that they are definitely being treated with kid gloves.
It is that building's policy to leave packages at the front desk, but Miller says she didn't know that. Amazon says it is working with law enforcement on the case. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
The home in Moscow, Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho students were killed, is being demolished. Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin were killed last November at the off-campus residence. The suspect in the murders, Brian Christopher Koberger, charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. Prosecutors have requested a summer trial date. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38, just about 6:39 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. A channel expansion project continues to encounter setbacks.
A Civil War-era provision in the Constitution once again threatening Donald Trump's political future. I'm Rachel Bade with ABC News, and I'll tell you more next.
And coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your fishing forecast, that allergy report as well, and later on Sunrise, we'll take a look at your forecast before the 2024 New Year. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're waking up this morning, if you're just tuning in, look at a live look at Quare, what is quite clear out there. In fact, it's so clear you can see a couple stars this morning, even though the sun's coming up. There's one right there, also one right there above my head, but it's also quite a chilly morning out there this morning. 35 to start out the day in the Cuero area. Now, Pickett's also there because that's the closest town to Cuero. That is at Victoria. But with the dew point at 32 degrees, just a few degrees off from that temperature, you got a 91% humidity. So it's a little bit humid out there, more like a humid cold, but it's not humid enough for fog to get that 95% or higher. But it's going to be a good day to go fishing. It's going to be a little cool, maybe like a mild cool today. Good day to go fishing. You can take a look at your fishing forecast here. Get your high tide about 7:54 p.m. this evening with your low tide about 10:06 a.m. this morning, just a few hours away. With your winds about 10 to 15 knots out of the west-northwest, making your bays and seas slightly choppy at about 2 feet, and your water temperature of about 61 degrees. And with that water temperature still pretty warm out there, it's going to keep us in this consistent temperature for the probably next couple of weeks. But the tree pollen is high today. You might want to take an allergy pill today. That's a little bit high, but the grass and ragweed is non-existent, so let it be your choice if you want to take it or not. But for the rest of this weekend, it's going to be warming up with that southerly flow, warming up to 70s this weekend on Sunday. Before we get a cold front, brings right back to the 60s next week on your 2024. We're going to take a look at that more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. A wild finish for those Wild West Warriors. Here's sports reporter Zach Brown.
In the Victoria Classic tournament, the West Warriors taking on the Cole Cougars. First place on the line. They were leading by 3, but time winding down. Cole hoists up a 3, and it banks home, plus the foul. The Cougars with a chance at a 4-point play and the lead with just 7 seconds remaining, but it rims out. So the Warriors, with just 2 seconds remaining, trying to draw up some magic. They inbound it cleanly. A back cut, perfect pass. The layup at the horn is good. The Warriors beat the tough Cole Cougars 59-57. They take first place in the Victoria Classic. The aftermath of that basket, the celebration, the boys get that first place trophy. Bo Woods takes home the Victoria Tournament MVP honors. Sean Metter got all tourney honors. What a game. And CJ Stroud has cleared concussion protocol. He should be back this Sunday. If the Texans win their last 2, they are in the postseason, but I'm hoping they do what I said they would do all year, and that is win the AFC South. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. The Secretary of State in Maine has joined Colorado in deciding Donald Trump is ineligible to be president. The unprecedented decisions will head to the Supreme Court for a final ruling.
Second time this month, a U.S. state booting former President Donald Trump from the ballot, citing the Constitution's insurrection clause. Attorneys representing a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent cited the Civil War era provision as justification for kicking Mr. Trump off the ballot.
We believe former President Trump on January 6th engaged in an insurrection against the Constitution of the United States. And under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, that disqualifies him from holding the office of the presidency.
And President Trump's legal team citing other secretaries of state who passed on removing him from the ballot.
All of whom have been asked to engage in this type of in a disqualification, and every administrative official has declined to do that for good reason.
Ultimately, Maine's Secretary of State ruled the former president ineligible.
When we looked at the weight of evidence, it became clear that January 6th was an attack not only on the Capitol, on government officials, but also an attack on the rule of law.
ABC News contributor John Katko, a former Republican congressman who bucked his own party to impeach Trump following January 6th, disagreed with the ruling.
It seems downright un-American, and quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of President Trump.
The decision follows a similar ruling in Colorado, which has been stayed until the U.S. Supreme Court makes the final call. Trump spokesman Stephen Chung blasting the decision, saying we are witnessing in real time the attempted theft of an election, and personally attacking the Maine Secretary of State, a Democrat, as a leftist. Overnight, California's Secretary of State announced that Trump would remain on the ballot despite calls from the lieutenant governor to remove him. It all underscores the divide even in the Democratic Party over this controversial issue. Rachel Bade, ABC News, Washington.
That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, will Trump continue to be removed from ballots? Okay, let's take a look. 84% of you say yes, and 16% of you say no. Thank you for taking part in this morning's viewer poll. The Matagorda Bay Channel expansion project continues to encounter several setbacks. Periodic errors discovered in the first environmental study led to a major slowdown. But once finished, the new and improved channel is expected to improve capacity at the port.
Army Corps of Engineers began a supplemental environmental study to evaluate the environmental impacts of the proper arithmetic of the amount of spoil and sediment that would be removed to deepen and widen the channel.
The completion of the Corps of Engineers study is now set back from the end of 2024 to mid-2025. Once approved, the deeper and wider channel is projected to help bring a multi-billion-dollar boost to the region's economy. The time is now 6:45 on our Friday morning. Still to come, we take a look at a deadly conflict between herders and farmers.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. We've been having some more cool weather this last week, haven't we? Especially because that cold front came through this last week, and I think it's really some jacket weather and some cool enough for jacket weather. It actually leads us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks you, is this t-shirt or is it jacket weather? What do you think? Let's take a look at what y'all are saying. Oh, it's about 30 of y'all are saying t-shirt weather. It's nice outside. Y'all think it's nice out there. And that gets changed on me. 28% of y'all are saying now t-shirt weather, and 72% of y'all are saying jacket weather. Too cool. I'm right there with you. I qualify as well. It's too cool out there. I was freezing coming in. I don't like the cold. To vote on today's weather poll, go to crossroadstodays.com/vote-weather to participate and see what everybody else is saying as well. Now, like I said, yesterday we got to 63 degrees, that afternoon high. Only at 251. It wasn't too bad. Actually, 3 degrees higher than I thought it was going to be. Actually, 2 degrees, but got started out at 35, though. Quite a chilly morning yesterday morning. In fact, looking about the same thing, subsequently just the same thing here this morning, starting out in the upper 30s for a good majority of us here, while the immediate coastline is going to be in the 40s this morning. That's just because you're closer to the water where the temperature is a little bit more consistent. But for the rest of the day, starting out, like I said, in the upper 30s, warming up to the low 60s probably is what I'm thinking, probably about 62, probably about the exact same weather we had yesterday, actually. Probably low 60s, and then dropping back to the 30s overnight. So if you have any plants outside, I'm going to bring those inside so they don't suffer in the cold. But we'll be warming up nicely tomorrow into the upper 60s, and the day after that, Sunday, New Year's Eve, we're warming up even more because we've got this low pressure system out there just south of the Great Lakes that just gives that cold front. It's going to push off into the Atlantic, making way for this next system to give us a warm front. It's going to warm us up nicely on Sunday before that cold front comes our way on New Year's Day. And we'll take a look at the timing of that and more in just a few more moments. Back to Kiwana.
Thank you, Parker. At least 113 people killed in a Christmas Eve clash between herders and farmers in central Nigeria. First aftermath videos emerged Wednesday as government leaders visited the area, bringing some aid and support for surviving victims who were taken to nearby hospitals. This is the worst outbreak of violence in the area since May, when more than 100 people were killed in similar fighting over limited resources between farmers and herders. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A busy night for SpaceX with 2 launches within mere hours of each other. A busy night Thursday for SpaceX with 2 launches within mere hours of each other. The first launch was a secretive mission. It consisted of a military space plane, which is expected to last a couple of years. The launch marked the 7th flight of the military space plane, which has logged more than 10 years in orbit since its debut in 2010. The second launch, which was a bit more usual, as a Falcon 9 rocket launched 23 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. It was the 12th flight for the first stage booster supporting this mission, which previously launched several satellites and 7 Starlink missions. Police in Maryland are looking for suspects involved in an officer-involved shooting after an attempted carjacking. It happened Thursday evening near an outlet mall in National Harbor. While an off-duty Prince George's County police officer loaded his family members into a car, at least 2 people approached, forcing them out. The off-duty officer then fired shots, causing the suspects to flee the scene in the officer's personal vehicle. The investigation is ongoing. A missing North Carolina 16-year-old girl found under a trapdoor in a home in Kentucky on Christmas Day. 34-year-old Zachary Jones now faces several charges, including rape, sodomy, strangulation, unlawful imprisonment, unlawful transaction with a minor, and terroristic threatening. Authorities say Jones's mother called police about a domestic incident between her son and his girlfriend. When officers arrived, he said she wasn't there. The local sheriff's department says Jones then tried to destroy drug paraphernalia that was in open view while they were there. After putting Jones in the patrol car, they searched the home and found the teen inside a trapdoor hidden under a rug in his bedroom. New info has surfaced on the Chinese spy balloon that swept through U.S. skies earlier this year. U.S. intelligence leaders have discovered the balloon used an American internet service provider to communicate. The balloon connected to the U.S.-based company to send and receive communications from China, mostly related to navigation. Leaders say it found the connection let the balloon send burst transmissions or high bandwidth collections of data over short periods of time. The company, which our sources have not yet named to protect the company's identity, denied that the Chinese balloon had used its network. A determination it said was based on its own investigation with discussions with U.S. leaders. Today stands to be one of the busiest days at the airports nationwide, but it's expected to get even busier this weekend. It comes as travelers return home after the holiday rush. TSA is expecting to screen more than 2.6 million people at airport security checkpoints across the country today. The FAA says the busiest day will be Saturday with more than 48,000 flights expected. TSA has recorded passenger volumes averaging nearly 2.5 million people since December 20th. That's only 5% down from the all-time air travel record of 2.9 million people set the Sunday after Thanksgiving. The U.S. Department of Justice has threatened to sue to stop Texas from enforcing a new law that allows state police to arrest people suspected of illegally crossing the border. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And now we turn to First Windstorm Team meteorologist Parker Cox for a look at your forecast. Good morning, Parker.
Good morning, Carolina, and good morning, folks. If y'all wake up this morning, if you're just tuning in, quite a chilly morning out there as you got a live look at North Victoria right here, where, like I said, quite cold, 35 degrees out there this morning starting out your day. With the dew point 31, though, it's a little bit humid. You got an 85% humidity out there, but it's not humid enough to create any fog, but it is humid enough to create some morning dew on your windshield and some water. So you might have to use those windshield wipers to get to work or if you're driving this morning. But let's take a look at what's going on for the rest of this week. We've got this low pressure system that just gave us that cold front last weekend. It's going to push off and dissipate into the Atlantic, be making our way for the new low. It's going to develop right over the Panhandle, bring us a warm front on Sunday, warming us up nicely before a cold front comes our way on New Year's Day, bring us right back to the 60s next week after we're warmed up nicely going into Sunday.
All right, I like that sun for us, Parker.
We love that sun too.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight at 25 News Now, 5, 6, and